Hey, Magic fans, welcome back. This is your captain speaking here on Capnclydes MTG. It's Monday and it's spoiler time again for Bloomburrow. We got a lot of good ones coming in, but don't forget to subscribe. We get to 1,000 peeps, we're having a giveaway, and then we're going to start having giveaways every time we hit one of those sweet milestones. So hang around and watch the videos, and I don't know, we get a beer or Kool-Aid or Grey Poupon. Anyway, so we're going to start it off with the reprinting of Fabled Passage. Probably one of the best fetch lands that there is, if you can call it a fetch land, as it only fetches basics, but does fetch any basic. So it can go into any deck. So very popular card. Not really expensive these days. It has been reprinted several times, but it is nice to see it come back to standard. So next, we have Kitsa, the Otterball Elite, a blue and 1 for this 1/3 mythic that has Vigilance and Prowess. That's already sweet. And it has tap, draw a card, then discard a card. So not only can I cast a spell and punch you in the face, but I can do my best impersonation of Merfolk Looter you've ever seen. For 2 colorless and tap, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy. Activate only if the power of this creature is 3 or greater. Not hard to do. I play red-blue, swing in, do some kind of red pump spell for 1, which makes this 3 or bigger, and then for 2 mana, copy the next pump spell, and wablam wablow, you got 10 damage. And if that's not good enough, hell, just the 1/3 that has Vigilance that does a Merfolk Looter impersonation plus blocks plus has Prowess. Yeah, this thing's going to be good. Easy $10 to $15 mythic. Anyway, moving on. So next we have the Valley Might Caller, 1 green for a 1/1 trampler. Look out, it's big, it's scary. Whenever another frog, rabbit, raccoon, or squirrel you control enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Okay, it's a little more scary. White, green, rabbit tokens, 3 mana, make 3 rabbit tokens. This 1/1 becomes a 4/4 trampler. Gets ugly quick, so this is probably going to be playable. Next, we have the Lunar Convocation. White, black enchantment. Beginning of your end step, if you gain life this turn, each opponent loses 1. At the beginning of your end step, if you gained or lost life this turn, create a 1/1 black rat creature token with flying. For a black and 1, pay 2 life, draw a card. Oh my god, this isn't a mythic. I mean, a 2 mana enchantment that says pay 2 life, draw a card, and at your end step, make a 1/1 black bat creature token with flying that can block or attack the next turn. Plus, it's in those sweet, sweet aristocrat colors. I don't see how this doesn't see some play and become probably a good $5 rare. Next, we have Paw Patch Recruiter, 1 green for a 2/1. Oh, yes. The Green Savannah Lions is here. It has Offspring, too, which means for an extra 2 mana, you can make 1/1 copy of it for every time you do it. It's got Trample. Whenever a creature you control becomes target spell or ability an opponent controls, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control other than that creature. Man, you make a whole bunch of these, it's just going to get out of hand quick. I'm going to bolt your 2/1 rabbit. Sweet. All my other ones are going to trigger, and now shit just got real. This is going to be easily a standard and modern playable card to some degree, but it's going to probably have to take its own deck to get it in there. Moving on, next we have the Jackdaw Savior. White and 2 for a 3/1 flyer. Whenever it or another creature you control with flying dies, return target creature card with lesser mana value from your graveyard to the battlefield. Hello, Nurse. This is going to be a Commander All-Star, as you can put out those big flyers and start just jerking stuff out of the graveyard over and over again. Also, you want to evoke that Mold Drifter that costs, 5 mana. Yeah, how about you evoke that for 3, draw 2 cards, and get something out of your graveyard? Just for the giggles of it. I see lots of good things happening with this in Commander. Hell, maybe Modern, but it is 3 mana. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see, but this thing's got some value. Next, we have the Reptilian Recruiter, 2 red and 3 for this 4/2 Trampler. Bit pricey. Whenever it enters the battlefield, you get to choose a target creature. If that creature's power is 2 or less, or if you control another lizard, gain control of that creature till the end of turn, untap it, it gains haste. Probably just a limited all-star for surprise attacks. I mean, nothing's better than Creature Steal with legs. Just saying. Next, we have the Rust Shield Rampager, green and 3 for this 4/4 with Offspring 2. This creature can't be blocked by creatures' powers 2 or less. Only in limited because 4 mana 4/4s are just fine. And with the Offspring thing, I mean, I guess if you've just got a bunch of mana laying around. All right, next we have the Bushy Bodyguard. Oh my god, did I just say that? I'm giggling on the inside. Anyway, green and 1 for this 2/1 with Offspring 2. All kinds of Offsprings floating around here. When this creature enters, you may forage. If you do, put 2+1/+1 counters on it. Wow. Forage is exiling 3 cards from your graveyard or sacrificing a food. So this could very well be a 2 mana 4/3. And late in the game, it could very well also for 2 extra mana make other 3/3s. This seems very powerful in limited and standard. I don't think it's going to see play in older formats, but hey, I've seen sillier shit. So, next we have Uncharted Haven. Decent reprint of a basic card. It enters the battlefield tapped. When it does, you choose a color, then it taps for that color. Great mana fixing for the limited format. We have the War Squeak. Get it? Squeak, mouse. Anyway, moving on. 1 red enchant creature. When it enters the battlefield, target creature an opponent controls can't block this turn, and this gets +1/+1 and haste. Fine for limited. Next, we have the Kindle Spark Duo. Red and 2 for a 1/1. You can tap it. It deals 1 damage to target opponent. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, you can untap it. It's fine for limited. It's no 2 mana 0/4 wall that does the same thing, but I mean, it's a Lizard Otter, right? Next, we have the Fountain Port Bell, 1 colorless. When it enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a basic land card, reveal it, then shuffle and put that card on top. Not bad for 1 colorless. Plus, for 1, you can sacrifice it to draw a card. This is 2 mana fixing for any limited environment, which makes this a top priority pick in limited. Not to mention, if this is early game that you play this, you can wait and draw the card later when you have the extra mana laying around. So this is going to be pretty high on the pick. Next, we have the Glide Dive Duo, black and 4 for a 3/3 flyer. Whenever it enters the battlefield, each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. Fine for limited. We also have a Thornplate Intimidator, black and 3 for this 4/3. Offspring 3. That's the most expensive one we've seen so far, I think. When this creature enters, target opponent loses 3 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discard a card. Definitely for limited, but definitely an all-star. We have Mind Spiral. Blue and 4 sorcery. Gift a tapped fish. For those who don't remember, when you gift a tapped fish, the opponent gets a 1/1 tapped blue fish. And it says target player draws 3 cards. If the gift was promised, tap target creature an opponent controls and put a stun counter on it. So 5 mana, draw 3. If you feel like giving your opponent a tapped fish because you're already that far ahead, you can stun one of their guys. This really sounds like almost a win more, but there is some play to it, so definitely limited. We have the Warren Elder, a white and 1 for this 2/2. For a 3 colorless and 1 white, creatures you control get +1/+1 to end of turn. Nothing like Crusade with legs, or little furry legs. Anyway, fine for limited. We have the Plated Provisioner, white and 4 for this 3/4 flyer. When it enters, put a +1/+1 counter target creature you control without flying. That's I don't even know if I get to see play. That's pretty bad because you can't target itself if it's the only creature you got. Next, we see Hazel's Nocturne. Black and 3 uncommon instant. Return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. Each opponent loses 2 life. You gain 2 life. Amazing limited card. Could very well kill your opponent. If you can't kill them with the cards, you can go get the creatures to kill them with. I like it. So we have the Patchwork Banner, 3 colorless. As it enters, you get to choose a creature type. Creatures you choose of that type get +1/+1, and it's a mana rock of any color. Holy shit, is this going into Commander? Also, limited All-Star. And I'm not gonna lie, this might see standard play if creature decks become the way to go, because +1/+1 is just sweet. Possibilities, lots of them. Anyway, moving on. We have Seasoned Warren Guard, 1 white for a 1/2. Already like it. Whenever it attacks while you control a token, it gets +2/+0 till the end of turn, so it's a 3/2 for 1. Yeah, this is going to be part of the rabbit deck in standard. It's going to start whooping ass. Anyway, moving on. Next, we have the Sinister Monolith. Black and 3 artifact. At the beginning of combat on your turn, each opponent loses 1 life. You gain 1 life. Tap, pay 2 life, sacrifice the Monolith, draw 2 cards, activate only as a sorcery. Amazing for limited, not going to lie. Because you can do this the minute you lay it. So, I mean, it's basically a 4 mana, pay 2, draw 2. With the ability that if you need to leave it laying around for a while you're sorting out your hand, you can and just gain life with it. Pretty sweet. Then we have the Stormbreaker. We have a red and 3 mythic. That's a 1/4. Otter Wizard with haste. Whenever you cast instant sorcery spell, create a token copy of Stormbreaker. Exile those copies at the beginning of your next end step. Lots of play here. This is another way to play Storm decks. Because this thing has haste. Once you get 1 out, if you do something to gain mana, you get to make a second one. And then when you cast your next mana ritual, you get 2 more copies. It's another way to kill somebody. This is going to be very popular in modern, probably even standard. Commander. I mean, should I go on? This is going to see play. Lots of it, especially Pioneer. Next, we have the Rotten Mouth Viper. So a black and 5 for a 6/6. It's a mythic. An additional cost to cast this spell, you may sacrifice any number of non-land permanents. This spell costs 1 less to cast for each permanent you sacrifice this way. Whenever it enters or attacks, you put a blight counter on it. Then for each blight counter on it, the opponent loses 4 life unless they sacrifice a non-land permanent or discards a card. I'm not completely sold on this yet, but it does seem very devastating. This could be played in all the formats because you could lay like a Bitter Blossom, some shitty enchantments that do damage to you, and then in response, sack those enchantments to play this card, making the price go down, and then it enters, and your opponent has to sacrifice something to lose 4 life. This card is going to see play, I think, in all the formats in some way, shape, or form. The real question is going to be, where is it going to fit in? And when it finds its home, how good's it going to be? So, stay tuned. Next, we have the Thought Stalker Warlock, a black and 2 for this 2/2 with Menace. Manache. When it enters the battlefield, you choose an opponent. If they lost life this turn, they reveal their hand. You choose a non-land card from it, and they discard it. Otherwise, they just discard a card. 3 mana, 2/2, discard a card with Menace. A bit much for any format outside of Limited. It's fine in Limited. For 3, I mean, it is a 2/2 with legs, but 2 mana 1/1s are probably better because they're faster. But it could be good enough in Limited for the only fact that by turn 3, your opponent still has plenty of cards in their hands. So, and this is a 2/2 Menace, so we'll see. Next, we have Hazard Root Herbalist, a green and 2 for this 1/4 beefy boy. It's a beefy rabbit druid. Whenever you attack, target creature you control gets +1/+0 to the end of turn. If that creature is a token, it also gains Death Touch. Oh, Jesus. So, yeah, for all them token decks out there, this is your boy. Because no one's going to be blocking them tokens when they got Death Touch and they're even bigger. So, putting that out there. This is going to be the problem. Yeah, so thanks a lot for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. Till next time, be kind. And as always, I hope to see you across from the game table. Death touching tokens because I have a rabbit druid. Perfect fucking sense. Love it.